Hi, my name's Ashley, and I'm here to tell you how spirituality found its way into my life. So, last year, I faced a bunch of trials and challenges. I lost a number of jobs, I think about 4 or 5. One of the jobs, I went on an interview twice, a couple months apart, and I finally got the job, and I was happy. It was a job that I wanted. It was a medical assistant job because for several years now, I've been in the field and I've always wanted to help people. I've found comfort and happiness, and I felt good knowing that I could help people, no matter how small. Although I couldn't take everyone's sickness or illness away, I was able to at least make them feel good or give them some type of comfort. And it felt good to me to be able to be there and make them smile, or, see that there were still good things. There was still light, in their dark. Because with lightness comes darkness, with good comes bad. And I never really thought much of it. I was never really a spiritual person. When I was younger, I went to Catholic school up until 4th grade. And ever since, my parents made the decision to take me out of Catholic school because they couldn't afford it any longer, I went to public school, and I haven't really been much to church since then. Maybe for a funeral, or, my kid's baptism, or, here and there. And I wasn't really spiritual. I wasn't practicing. I did believe that there was some higher force. There was somebody, a God, maybe. There was some higher power. I did always believe in that. And it wasn't until, I kept facing these challenges. I left my job that I had as a nursing assistant in January for another job that was completely not in the medical field at all, but it paid better. And I was only there for a couple weeks before they fired me because I wasn't living up to their expectations of production. And they let me go. And I was out of work for a little bit before I went on that second interview for that medical assistant job, and I got it. And I worked there for a while, and I got let go. I went in Friday, and I came back Monday, and they called me into the office, and they said, we need to talk to you. And they sat me in the office, and they said, everybody that works here comes from a good family. I guess they had the perception that I did not come from a good family. And so I got fired from there. And that put me in a real bad state of depression. I wanted that job so badly that I went on that second interview. I finally got it, and then it was taken away from me. So I got into a real bad state of depression where I laid in bed for a couple weeks. I wasn't even able to take care of my kids. I wasn't eating. I wasn't sleeping. I was just lying there crying. And when I wasn't crying, I was sleeping. And I didn't want to die, but I felt no desire to live. I thought to myself, when I laid there at night, please just take me. I don't want to feel like this anymore. My kids would be better off without me. Everyone would probably be better off without me. And I didn't get another job for a couple months. And when I did, I got one through Walmart. I got out of that rut, and I told myself, you got to get yourself together. You got to get another job. You got to provide for your kids, because at that time I was behind on my rent. I was behind on everything, and you got to be there for your kids. And so I got the job at Walmart, and I worked there for a couple weeks, and I got in trouble because I was so behind on everything. I had a lapse in judgment, and I would go to the self-checkout, and I would not scan things, and I would put them in my bag. Like toilet paper and diapers and things that I felt that I needed. And they called me into the office again, and they told me that it was, a part of their research project, and they had to let me go. And that was the first time that I ever got in trouble, and I felt bad because it was not the person that I was, and ever since, people have looked at me different. They would hold their bags tighter, and I would never steal from a person. What I did was wrong, and I regret it, and I'm paying for it. But in my head, it was like, they were a multi-million-dollar company. They wouldn't miss a pack of toilet paper. They wouldn't miss a pack of diapers. And I had a lapse in judgment, and I got fired again for the third time. And I struggled again because I couldn't seem to get a job. I was still behind. I couldn't ever catch up, because every time I got a job and I started making money, I would lose that job. And I had a wedding coming up, and everything that I had, I was putting towards the wedding. I was on payment plans, and I was supposed to get married September 25th. And, everything seemed good. Everything, I was making payments on everything, and everything was set. I was going to get married. This was the second wedding that I planned with this man, and the first time it fell through, not because he didn't want to marry me, but things happened, and it had to get canceled. And this time, it was 2 days up until the wedding. It was the Thursday before the wedding that was going to be on Saturday, and I went and I left the house to go get his tux. And when I came back, he was gone. And I didn't get a response from him, but it wasn't until his mom told me, she came in my room Friday night, the night before the wedding, and he said that he can't marry you. Now, this was, like I said, the second wedding that I planned, and everything was paid for, and we got up till 2 days before the wedding, and I thought for sure it was going to happen this time. And now, this time, it was a choice. It was a choice for him to leave. It was a choice not to marry me. And I wasn't even worthy enough of an explanation. I wasn't worthy enough for him to tell me himself that he couldn't marry me. And I felt a sense of unworthiness. I felt worthless. I felt, again, that everybody would be better off without me. That broke me. It broke me. And like I said, although I wasn't ever a spiritual person, you don't know pain until you sat there and you begged God to heal your heart. And I begged him. I said, please, please make this stop hurting. I can't hurt like this anymore. And somehow, after a couple weeks, things started becoming easier. You know, it still hurts, but it doesn't hurt nearly as bad. And I was at a point where I questioned if there was a God, or if there was somebody, if there was some higher power. Because if there was, why would he allow these things, these bad things, to happen to me? Why? What did I do? What did I do to deserve this? Because at that same time, in between losing all them jobs, I totaled my car. I had some trouble with my son to where I had to put him in inpatient. It was a really rough year for me, and that in itself was the thing that took me over. Like, that was the thing, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I learned so much from it. Now, I love myself. I took my power back. I put, for so long, I put the key to my happiness in someone else's pocket. And that was my first mistake. You can't do that. You can't put the key to your happiness in somebody else's pocket. And I felt so loved and so underappreciated and worthless. And that was another lesson for me too. No one can ever hate you to the extent that you can hate yourself. And I hated myself. I didn't love myself. I didn't appreciate myself. I stayed for as long as I did, no matter what happened, because I felt worthless. I felt that if I lost him, or if we were no longer a thing, I wouldn't find anybody else. I wasn't good enough. I came with 4 children, and nobody would want that. Nobody would see my worth. Nobody would want me. No one would want that burden. I came with too much baggage. There was nothing that I could offer that would be anything worth the significance that anybody would want. I was just a single mother with 4 kids, struggling with my bills, and who would want that? Who would want to love me? So I stayed through all the emotional and physical and financial and all the types of stress and abuse. I stayed because I didn't feel like I was going to get any better. I didn't believe that I deserved better. But let me tell you, I deserve better. I know what I have to bring to the table. I know what I have to offer. And I know that anybody that came into my life would be lucky to experience all that I have to give, all the love that I have to give. And that's not me being overly confident or conceited. No, that's me knowing my worth. That's me knowing that I am the shit. Because we all are. We all are. We all deserve love. We all deserve the finer things in life. We all do. But we all have lessons. We always are put here, and it's a lesson. And I wasn't learning my lesson. You know, all these bad things kept happening, and it was like, it started out as a whisper, and I ignored it. And that's how it is with a lot of people. It starts off as a whisper, and it's like we ignore it, and then it gets louder and louder, and the trauma and the cycles just keep repeating and repeating and repeating, and the next time it gets worse than the last time, where it starts out as like a little pebble being thrown at you, and then it becomes a boulder, and then the next thing you know, you're being smacked in the face with a brick wall. And then what do? You have no choice but to face it head on and slam through it. You can't try to find ways around it. There's no way around it. You have to go through it head on. And that's what I had to do. And so I started seeing things, like, not seeing things like crazily. I started seeing signs and synchronicities. Like, I kept seeing like 11:11. Like, everywhere I went, the clock. Every time I looked at the clock, it was 11:11, even though 10 minutes ago I just thought I saw 11:11. It was like, signs, like exit signs. It'd be like 111. And then everywhere I turned, I kept seeing like 222 or 333, and it was like, what is going on? And then all these birds would come to my house. Everywhere I went, there was a bird. There was a bird everywhere I went, everywhere I turned. And it's like, then it was a bird feather. And then crazy things, like, then I saw dead birds. And crazy enough, one time I saw a dead bird in a parking spot that was written with the letter J in it. And that held significance to me, because when I looked up the meaning, it said that when you see a dead crow, that means that a past loved one is now at peace. And when I was younger, when I was about 14, 15 years old, my grandfather took his life. And he was my father figure. He was the one that was supposed to walk me down the aisle. He taught me how to drive. He was everything to me. And I had already lost my uncle a couple years before to him taking his own life. But his name was John. And this dead crow was laying in a parking spot with the letter J. I mean, it's crazy things that I can't even explain. It's like, it was constantly being smacked in my face. It was like, and when I didn't listen, it was like I kept being faced with, like I said, trial and trial and trial. And I took it as a way of, like, now that I think about it, it's like, damn, bitch, you didn't get it yet? Come on, get it together. And I had lessons to learn. And I'm still learning. But one of those lessons, like I said, was to know my self-worth. One of my lessons was to know when it's time to go. When it's time to release. And now I'm seeing better things. I'm getting better things. And I don't know what I would have done if it didn't come into my life. And it was one of those days after I finally got myself back together after he left before the wedding. It took a couple months, but I got another job. And I was driving home one day, and I said to myself, I said, there's got to be more to this. Like, there's got to be more than waking up every day and going to work every day and busting your ass, living paycheck to paycheck, and just getting by the skin of your teeth. And not even in my case getting by. I was not getting by. I'm always behind. And there's got to be more to this. Like, we are literally going on every day busting our ass just to die. Like, come on, there's something. There's got to be something. Like, I wasn't put here to just suffer and bust my ass for everything that I have to then die. No way. I started to question, what is this? Why am I here? Like, there's got to be something. And that's what kick-started what I believe was my spiritual awakening. That's what kick-started spirituality in my life. Because I didn't think about it before then. I didn't think about what other reason would there be to be here. I just never questioned it. I just went through life every day and said, okay, get up, time to work, go to work, come home, take care of the kids, pay the bills. And it gets tiring. It gets overwhelming. And I never questioned it. But now I know that I have some type of purpose. I know that I was put here for some type of reason. And I'm still trying to figure out, honestly, what that reason is. I'm not quite sure what it is. I do know that I'm supposed to help. I know that I hold a lot of knowledge, and I know that I'm supposed to be some type of teacher. I know that I'm some type of healer, and I've known that ever since I got into the medical field, and I found joy in helping people, and people found joy in me. I knew that I was put here for something, and I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to be teaching about. I'm not quite sure how I'm supposed to help. I don't know, quite honestly, what my spiritual path holds, but I am taking the first steps to get on it. I'm making this video to start my spiritual journey, because although I don't know what I'm here to do, I'll never know if I don't take that leap, if I don't try. And if nothing, if by the end of the day this video does nothing, hopefully it gives somebody a sense of peace that has been through the same things that I have been through. And it does let you know that there is some type of light at the end of the tunnel, that you will get through it. You will. You will never be faced with something that you cannot handle. You will always make it through. And you have to learn that the things that happen to you, the things that we perceive as bad, they're not happening to us, because we all seem to question why. Why are these bad things happening to me? No. They're not happening to you. They're happening for you. And I believe that all the things that I have faced within my life, they were meant to build me into the strong person that I am, to be able to help somebody else get through the things that I have been through. To again help somebody see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, that you can get through it. So maybe that is part of my purpose. Maybe I am supposed to be that light. Maybe I'm supposed to shine my light to help you see, to help you get to where you need to be, to help you see that you can do it. And I hope that if nothing else, this video helps you see that there is light. And I hope that I was that light for you, even for this brief period of time. You can do it. You are worthy. You do deserve love. You are perfect. God, spirit, universe, angels, whatever, they love you, and they are here for you, and they are doing everything for your highest and greatest good. They are supporting you. They're guiding you. Just like they guided me. Even if they pluck you off that cliff, there's another hand down there ready to catch you. You can do it. Know that. You are beautiful. Flaws and all. Like I said, no one can hate you more than you hate yourself. You are your worst enemy. Love yourself. Put yourself first. Believe that all the things that you want in life are achievable. You can obtain them. Don't let self-doubt block your vision, because you get back what you put out. And if you think, oh, I won't get that job, or no, I won't get that house, or then you won't. But if you set that intention and you put it out to the universe, yes, I deserve that job. Yes, I will get that job. You will get it. You will. You got to practice as if you already have it. And I tell you, that stuff will start flowing to you. It will start coming in streams. You'll get that call. Hey, we want to offer you this position. Hey, we're offering you this house. Come sign the contract. Come do the closing. You will get everything if you tell yourself that you can. I grew up in life with my parents telling me, you can get anything that you can set your mind to. And that is true. If you make your mind believe that you can have it, or if you make your mind believe that you already have it, you can have it. But it's when we start letting them negative beliefs get in our head. No, I'm not good enough. No, there's somebody better than me out there. No, there's somebody more qualified. No, they would never give me that house. There's somebody with more money. Well, you have the choice. What are you going to do? You are loved and you are perfect. And you deserve a good life. Take care.